here we are going to start and learn about the electric current. It is a very interesting chapter in class 10th physics, and to start with, we are going to learn what is current. Now see, current means it is the flow, right? So when I say flow, it can be the flow of water. When water flows from one place to another, it is called as the water current. And it can also be the flow of the wind. And if wind is flowing from one place to another, it will be called as the wind current. So similarly, we can also say that if the electron or any charge flows from one place to another, then it will be called as the electric current. Now, if you talk about the electric current, it is the flow of electron in conductor, if it is a conductor. But if it is not a conductor, it can be the charge which is flowing from one place to another. It can be a positive charge, it can be a negative charge. If it is in gas, it is the ions. If it is a aqueous solution of some electrovalent compound like NaCl or HCl or whatever it is, in that case, it is the charge which is flowing. It is the ions, the plus ions and the minus ions, right? Okay, so if you talk about the definition of the electric current is actually the flow of amount of charge through a particular cross section in a unit time. So to understand this, what is cross sectional area? Now, if you talk about the cross-sectional area, consider a conductor. Let it be a wire which has got a cylindrical shape, right? Now, you can see that this area, so this is called as the cross-sectional area, right? Okay, so the current or the charges should flow through this cross-sectional area, right? If you want to write the formula for the electric current, then it is the amount of the charge divided by the time, right? So, what makes the charge to flow? Now, you can know this from some certain analogies which you will be giving from the common experience. Let us take two tank, and one tank A is about this tank number, that is B. Now, if you connect these two tanks and then you put a tap on it and put some liquid in tank A, and if you open the tank, what will you see? That the liquid from tank A will flow automatically into the tank number, that is B. Similarly, if you have got a body which is at 60 degrees centigrade and other body which is at B and it is at 20 degrees centigrade, and if they both are brought in contact with each other, you can see that the heat will start to flow from the body which is at a higher temperature to the body at a lower temperature, and this process continues till both of them achieve the same temperature. Now, in the case of the water flow, we know that the water will flow from higher potential, that is the gravitational potential, to the lower potential. And if the heat is flowing, it flows from the higher temperature to the lower temperature. This is what happens when the heat flows from one place to another. Now, what happens in a cell? If you know that if you have got a cell, the cell has got one of the terminal as positive, which is at the higher potential, and the other one which is negative, it is at the lower potential, right? Now this particular potential, that means if you have got the cell, and if this cell, the positive and negative terminal, the positive terminal has got a higher potential and the negative terminal has got a lower potential. Now this cell, we are going to connect it, and then find out what is the direction of the current. Now the difference in the potential between the positive terminal of the cell and the negative terminal of the cell, that is called as the potential difference. Okay, now what is the function of the cell? That means what is the use of the cell? It is to create the potential difference between the 2 points in an circuit. Now, to understand the flow of the circuits, we will now teach you what do you understand by the free electron, right? What is a free electron? Now, in the case of a conductor, if you have got the atom, inside the atom you have got the nucleus, which has got the protons, which is positively charged, and the neutrons, which is neutral, right? Okay, now around this nucleus, to make it very simple, we have got some orbits around it, and in each of this orbit, we have got some electrons. Here we can see that it is not only the one proton, there are many protons and many neutrons, right? And whatever is the number of protons, that much number of electrons also will be there, and they will be all rotating around the nucleus in their fixed orbit, right? Now, what is the free electrons? These are all not the free electrons. See, all these electrons are attracted by the nucleus because nucleus is positively charged and the electrons are negatively charged. So what happens is they both attract each other. The nucleus and the electron, there is a force of attraction, and this force is called as the electrostatic force of attraction, right? In the non-metals, the number of electrons in the outermost orbit is more. So it may be 5, 6 or 7 electrons in the outermost orbit. In the cases of the inert gases, there are 8 electrons. But in the cases of the metals, you generally have either you have got 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost orbit. So they are less bound to the nucleus. The force of attraction in the cases of the metal to the free electrons in the outermost orbit, it is very light. So what you can do, these electrons are easily pulled out by means of any force which is there. So it can be easily removed, right? Now, depending upon the number of the free electron, the substances are classified as conductors, which have got large number of free electrons, which are the charge carriers, right? Then you have got insulators. Now, what are insulators? They practically have no free electrons. कुछ होते हैं लेकिन फिर वो भी एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पर flow करने की capacity नहीं रखते हैं. And they are the semiconductor, the third type of the substances. The conductivity is between the conductors and the insulators, and in the case of the semiconductors, they do not have free electrons at the room temperature, but can develop free electrons and also holes under specific conditions. Now, where are the semiconductors used? In your mobile phone, in all the electronic equipments nowadays, in computers and IC circuits, whatever you have got, the SIM cards, then you have got the integrated circuit which is there inside the computers. Everything is made up of the semiconductors. कुल मिला के क्या बात पता चली है? कंडक्टर्स हैं तो उनके पास बहुत सारे फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होते हैं, इंसुलेटर्स हैं तो ना के बराबर होते हैं, और सेमीकंडक्टर्स में जो नंबर ऑफ फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एंड द चार्जेस, इट कैन बी होल्स ऑल्सो, उनकी कंडक्टर्स और इंसुलेटर्स के बीच के नंबर होती है. ठीक है? Now, let us have a small quiz. Ready? Okay. Now, the substance which do not allow the charge to pass through it easily, it is called as metal, conductor, insulator, or semiconductor. Give me the answer. Yes, it is insulator. The negative terminal is called, yeah? The negative terminal, let me write, of a battery has higher electrical potential, lower electrical potential, pole, or none of this. What is it called? Come on, answer. It has got lower electrical potential. The third question now, the substance which do not have free electrons but can develop under specific condition is called बोले metals, non-metals, semiconductors or superconductors. Come on, give me the answer fast. Yes, it is semiconductor. What is the function of the cell? The function of the cell is to create difference, to create drop, create potential difference, develop free electrons. Which is the right answer? Come on. Yes, to create the potential difference. Absolutely correct. Let us discuss the flow of current now in a wire. Let us consider a wire. Wire generally looks like what? सिलेंडर जैसा दिखता है भाई. देखो, है ना? अब ये सिलेंडर में बहुत सारे क्या होते हैं? We know there are lots and lots and lots of free electrons. To be very precise, we have got the numbers as 10 to the power of 28 electrons in 1 meter cube of a metal, right? Now these free electrons and atoms, what they do? Even at the room temperature, they are in the state of vibration and also they are in the state of the motion, but in a random order. They will not have a specific direction, but they keep on vibrating. Along with them, all the free electrons also will be moving from one place to another in a random motion. They will be going from one atom to another, one place to another, no specific direction, but a very, 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 very high speed. And the thermal speed is approximately, if you talk about, it is in the order of 10 to the power of 5 meters per second. Now they are not connected to the battery. So it is just a piece of the wire which is lying here, and you can, if you are able to see it by some microscope or some other things, this is the way how the atoms and the electrons look like, right? Now comes the condition in which we have got the conductor. Now it is having the electrons and atoms inside it, and now this is externally connected to a battery. There is a positive terminal and there is a negative terminal of the battery. The switch is obviously on. Atoms still will be vibrating and the electrons but will be drifted along in the directions towards the positive terminal of the battery. You can see that the electrons is coming out of this place and going inside the wire, going to the positive terminal of the battery, and from inside the battery it is going from positive to negative, and then again it goes on continuing. So this is actually the flow of the current inside the conductor. Now the electron moves with the average drift. देखो पहले ये कैसे मूव हो रहे थे और अब सिर्फ ऐसे ही नहीं होंगे, ये मूवमेंट भी होगा. ऊपर वाला जो मूवमेंट है ना अपना, ये भी चलते रहेगा और साथ में ये ड्रिफ्टिंग भी चलती रहेगी. Now this velocity with which they will be moving, that is called as the average velocity, or this is also called as the drift velocity, which is very, very low. And if you talk about the drift velocity of electrons, so it will be approximately, ये होता है कुछ few millimeters का होता है. और ये सारी जो इलेक्ट्रॉन जब वायर में फ्लो होते हैं, this is called as the electric current. Right? See, the conventional current, if you talk about, the direction of the current is always from the positive to the negative terminal of the battery. The current will be flowing from the positive terminal of the battery. It will go to the wire, then it will come in this way, and then it will reach the negative terminal of the battery. But you can see that the flow of the electron is only in the opposite direction. क्या कर रहे सारे इलेक्ट्रॉन, जिस डायरेक्शन में करंट फ्लो हो रहा है ना, उसके ठीक ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में आपके इलेक्ट्रॉन्स फ्लो होते हैं, बिकॉज दे आर नेगेटिव, राइट? द पॉजिटिव जो भी चार्ज पार्टिकल्स हो गए, the movement of this positive charge particle is always in the direction of the current, and the electrons will move opposite to that of the current. So free electrons will move from negative terminal to the positive terminal of the battery. Is it clear? Okay, this is how the electron which is flowing inside the wire. Let us now discuss about a very important concept, and that is called as the potential difference. Now, let us talk about an insulating stand which is at A, and there is a higher potential point that is B. And you have got another insulating stand that is B, and here the potential or the charge which is given to it, it is negative. This is at the lower potential. If you connect this by some means, some wire or something, the current will start flowing due to the potential difference. The charge will flow from higher potential to the lower potential. See, if it is the stream of positive charges, it will move from the position of the higher potential to कहाँ जाने वाला है वो लोअर पोटेंशियल पर जाएगा. लेकिन अगर वो नेगेटिव चार्जेस हैं तो सारी अगर नेगेटिव चार्जेस हैं द नेगेटिव चार्ज विल बी फ्लोइंग फ्रॉम द लोअर पोटेंशियल to the higher potential. Now the concept is, if there is a difference in potential, the charges will flow from one place to another. Now if you want to find out the direction of the current, now the current will be always the direction of the flow of the positive charge. This will be the direction of the current. And the opposite, see, the electrons or the negative charges are flowing from lower to higher, but still the direction of the current will be always the opposite to that of the flow of the negative charge. जिस भी डायरेक्शन पे नेगेटिव चार्जेस फ्लो हो रहे हैं उसके ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में आपका करंट फ्लो होगा, राइट? The positive charges are flowing. See, this red one is the positive charge. It is flowing automatically from the higher potential to the lower potential, right? As the charge is flowing, work is done. As the charge is flowing, you can see that the work is done. ताकत लग रहा है भाई, मेहनत लग रही है. So that is the work which is done, right? Now you can see that this work is like because of the potential difference, what is moving? So there is a relation between them. And what is the relation? The potential difference between 2 points in an electrical circuit is defined as the amount of work done in moving a unit positive charge from one point to another. So if you want to define potential, the potential is equal to V. That is equal to what? It is the work done by the charge. This is called as the potential difference. V is the way how I write it, and this is actually the potential difference. Clear? Okay. Now, see, electricity you can see everywhere. लेकिन बिजली बादल से भी तो आता है. चलो, look out for the interesting video regarding that. And हर बिल्डिंग, हर जगह आपको इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मिलती है, right? How does this lightning occur? Now, this lightning occur because in the clouds, you have got lot of static charges. Because of the friction which is produced, this cloud is at a higher potential and the charges will flow from higher to lower potential. This ground is having a zero potential. हमेशा अर्थ को हम जीरो पोटेंशियल लेते हैं तो पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस क्रिएट हो गया. और आपको पता है कि इफ देयर इज अ potential difference between 2 points, the current starts flowing from the higher potential to the lower potential. So this is the reason why this lightning occurs. Now, how much current is there? We will study in a separate video. Now, let us answer again the few questions. Electron flow from negative terminal to positive terminal of the cell, but dash of the current is from positive terminal to negative terminal of the cell. The answers are conventional current, electron current, real current, negative, which is the correct answer. Conventional current. Very good. What is the function of the cell? The function of the cell is to create potential difference, develop charges, random motion of electrons. None of these. Give me the answer fast. Bole? Potential difference. Very good. Cell contains higher potential and lower potential, and that creates the potential difference, and potential difference hoga तभी ना current flow होगा. Done. Very good. What is the potential of earth? Zero potential. The earth is always taken as the zero potential. Okay, give a clap, give a clap. All of you have done very nicely in this quiz. Excellent, excellent.